This is the homework for 898 and 899. In problems 898, you need to graph the points x, y, and z. So for x, it's -3, 5. -3 on the x, 1, 2, 3. 5 on the y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my x. Y is -2 on the x and +3 on the y, 1, 2, 3. Z is at -1, 4. -1 on the x, 4 on the y. For part A, you need to reflect the triangle across the y-axis. So here's the y-axis, and if y is -2, y prime would be +2. Z is -1, z prime would be +1. And x is -3, so x prime would be +3. For part B, you need to translate the original triangle. So here's the original. We're not going to do the reflected triangle. The original triangle down 6 units and to the right 3 units. So down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to the right 3 units, 1, 2, 3. And there's where my new y prime would be. Z down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, Z. Now, I could have just went up 1 and over 1 to the right, up 1, over 1 to the right, instead of counting 6 down and 3 to the right. And I could also do the same thing to find my x coordinate, 1, 2, 3. So up 1, 2, over 1. Up 2 over 1. There's my x prime. And the question is asking, what is the new coordinate of y? So here's y, and my new coordinate is 1, 1, 2, 3. So my y is going to be 1, -3. In the previous problem, for A, it was asking what are the new points for Z. Here's Z, here's our new point, and it's 1 on the X, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Y, so it's 1, 4. In C, I need to dilate the original triangle by multiplying each coordinate by -1. Well, here are my original coordinates for the original triangle. And if I'm going to multiply each coordinate by -1, so it's really going to be the opposite of what each of these coordinates are, because -1 multiplied by -3 is going to be a +3. -1 multiplied by 5, -5. And then I'll do the same thing for y. -1 multiplied by -2 is +2, and -3. And z prime, -1 multiplied by -1 is +1, and we'll get -4. And now I'm going to go ahead and graph these points. 3 on the x, 1, 2, 3, and -5 on the y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will be my new x prime. This would be 2 on the x and -3 on the y. It's going to be my new coordinate. And then z prime would be 1 on the x and -4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y. And that's going to be my new z prime. And it says, describe the new shape that you create. So the new shape that I created, it's the same size, same shape, but you can see that it's been rotated 180 degrees, either counterclockwise or clockwise, because remember the rule for 180-degree rotation is opposite of your x and y coordinates. For problem 899, you need to write a rule for the amount of money in Francis's account. So first we want to find out the rate of change. So you can see for every day at his new job, as that increases 1, the amount of money in his account increases by 43. And that's at a constant rate. Every day is $43. So that rate of change gives us the slope. So you have the dependent over the independent, the y over the x, or the difference of the y's. So 70 minus 23 is 43. 1 minus 0 is 1, which gives us a rate of change of 43 over 1, or $43 for every day he's at his job. The 0 represents the y-intercept, or the initial value. When he first started his job, he had $27 in his account. So, to write the rule or the equation, we set it up into slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. M represents the slope or rate of change. B represents the initial value or the y-intercept. So we have a rate of change of $43 per day, and initial value, or what he started with, is $27 in his account. For part B, we need to determine when will Francis have more than $1,000 in his account. So now we can use this rule, y equals 43x plus 27, to determine that. Y represents the total money in his account. X represents the days. So we want to find out, well, how many days if he has $1,000 in his account. So here, the y represents $1,000, and now we solve for x because we want to know how many days. Well, inverse property of addition is subtraction, so we subtract 27 from both sides of the equation, created a 0 pair. 1,000 minus 27 is 973. Inverse property of multiplication is division, so we divide both sides by 43. This created the big 1. 1 multiplied by x is x, because it's the identity property of multiplication. And then 973 divided by 43 is approximately 22 63/100. So at 22 days, so x represents the number of days. So at 22 days, he doesn't have enough money. He has less than $1,000. So it's not until you get to the 23rd day that he'll have enough money, because he won't get paid until his next day at the job. So Francis will have more than $1,000 after the 23rd day.